So it's been announced today that Dave Allen will take on David Price on the undercard of Dillian Whyte versus Oscar Rivas in the O2 Arena on July the 20th, Sky Box Office pay-per-view. Now, I kind of expected this fight to be made. I did say that I could see the winner of Lucas Browne versus Dave Allen fighting David Price at some stage this year, and I kind of envisioned that it would be on a Dillian Whyte undercard or an Anthony Joshua undercard. I didn't think it'd be on just standard Sky Sports. I thought they'd do it as an undercard fight, which they of course have. Now, this comes after both guys have won their respective fights. Both fights ended very, very differently for each opponent. Dave Allen was able to stop Lucas Browne there last week with a body shot, and David Price fought, Cash Ali a couple of weeks prior. And, that fight didn't go as we all planned. And David Price won the fight via disqualification after he was bit twice by Cash Ali. Cash Ali has subsequently been gone on to be suspended for 6 months and fined £10,000. I think that's fair enough for someone, an area level fighter who's not made a lot of money. 10 grand could be a lot of money to Cash Ali. And he's had his purse withheld, which was 20 grand, which I think is fair due, to be fair. Now, David Allen versus David Price. David Price against Cash Ali. I said it when I made that post-fight review that Cash Ali is an area level fighter. He is not that good, realistically speaking. And I actually thought that Cash Ali was doing quite well against David Price. He was losing the fight, and I think he was on his way to getting stopped. But even in the round where he got disqualified, he was getting close to David Price. And in fact, I think he was actually having his best round. When you go back and watch it, he actually probably had his best round in the fourth round where he was disqualified. So David Price, the knockout losses to Povetkin and, the injury he suffered against Kuzman, followed up with his performance against Tom Little. These are guys, Tom Little and, his last two fights, Tom Little and Cash Ali. These are two guys who you would say probably aren't as good as a David Allen. Because David Allen, on his day, I think David Allen could be quite a useful heavyweight. If David Allen actually took it seriously and, really went all guns blazing in on a fight, I think he could actually be quite useful. I'm not saying he'd beat any of the world level guys, no. But I definitely think British title level anyway, is not unrealistic for Dave Allen. Definitely not. He's shown that when he can be in shape, he can be useful. He just goes into sparring partner mode where he just doesn't let his hands go. And you just feel that if David Allen wasn't so happy to go into sparring partner mode, he'd actually go and, really go out there and try and put it on his opponent, he could do a lot better. And I think that Lucas Browne fight, the first 2 rounds of that Lucas Browne fight, Dave Allen lost those 2 rounds. It was definitely a sharper Lucas Browne than the Browne who fought Dillian Whyte there last year and was knocked out. But it's still an over-the-hill Lucas Browne. And Dave Allen, for the first 2 rounds, I think, was in sparring partner mode. And I think come the 3rd round, he did finally snap out, which is when he landed that body shot. And I think you saw elements of that in the Nick Webb fight. I know in the Nick Webb fight, he wasn't exactly in the greatest of shape. But for the first 3 rounds, he just had his head jabbed off. And it was only really in the 4th round where he started letting his hands go. In which, in the 4th round, he was able to get Nick Webb out of there. So I think that if you put those performances on top of one another, and the confidence he would have got, because he really did want that Lucas Browne fight, Dave Allen. He really did want that fight. He wanted Lucas Browne on his resume. He wanted that win. He got that win. I think that might be the motivation needed to kickstart David Allen to the point where he finally starts bringing out the performances. The point where he finally gets the big fights and he gets the win. And by big fight, I mean your David Prices. He could perform brilliantly against, we'll say, an Oscar Rivas, a Dillian Whyte. He probably wouldn't win them fights. In fact, he's already lost Dillian Whyte. But what I mean is, at this level, a kind of British level, I think he can pull it out if he goes in with the right mindset and if he goes in, in shape. And at this stage in David Price's career, I think he's there for the taking for someone like a Dave Allen. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if Dave Allen wins this fight. I really wouldn't, because I think that David Price, when I go back and watch the Cash Ali fight, and I see someone like Cash Ali who realistically is an area level fighter, giving David Price problems and being very close to landing on David Price, who we know has chin issues, that's a worry. And David Price is not getting any younger either. He's in his mid-30s now. And, to be coming back after all these devastating knockout defeats from injuries, knowing that he is vulnerable, I think that this is almost tailor-made for Dave Allen to win. He still has to do it, don't get me wrong. And David Price is a very, very, very big puncher. Dave Allen, we know, seems to have a very good chin. But, you know, it's heavyweight boxing at the end of the day. Anyone can get knocked out in heavyweight boxing if they're hit clean. So Dave Allen would need to be careful about that. But I think this is an interesting fight. It's a good fight. Dave Allen has even come out and said that he's wanted this fight for years. And he did talk about this fight a couple of years back, even after, I think, he lost Dillian Whyte before he fought Luis Ortiz. He wanted David Price. So I think that this is a good fight. And I do think David Allen will win this fight. But I think he needs to really be, you know, in the mindset. He needs to really focus, knuckle down, be in good shape, and not go into sparring partner mode again. Which I don't think he will. I think he's learned his lessons, and I think that Lucas Browne fight might just be the fire he needed to take that extra step in his career. So this is a good fight, you know. I'd be interested to see how this undercard goes, because I remember it was when Dillian Whyte fought Parker. That was a great undercard. That was one of Eddie Hearn's best cards I think I've seen in a long time. So Dillian Whyte undercards are normally quite good. So it'll be interesting to see who else will be on this undercard, because Dillian Whyte, Oscar Rivas, I like that fight. I think it's an interesting fight. And Dave Allen versus David Price, again, interesting fight, good fight. This is the one thing I like about Eddie Hearn. He puts heavyweights on these cards. We all like heavyweights. I would not be at all surprised if Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker was made on this card as well. Definitely wouldn't be surprised about that. If people like heavyweights, it's what we want to see. And I think it's good. So leave your thoughts down below. Who do you think is going to win this fight? Do you think it'll be Dave Allen, or do you think Dave Price will win? Leave it down below. Thanks for dropping by the channel. If you like the video, please smash the like button. Thanks for dropping by. If you like the stuff, please hit subscribe. And as always, I will talk to you after.